You know that Bathfitter provides a seamless wall for your new bathtub and a lifetime warranty, but have you heard about their price assurance guarantee? Hey, it's Julie for Bathfitter, and they're so sure that they offer the best value for your money that they'll beat any comparable pricing. So, if you find any bathtub or shower system with the same features, Bathfitter will beat that quote. So not only are you going to get the best price, but you're going to get the best product and the best service. You can't go wrong. And you can even get a free consultation and use their Design Your Own Bath tool on the website, so you know exactly what you're getting. Not only does Bathfitter give you that price assurance guarantee, but they've also got affordable payment options to fit every budget. If you've been dreaming of a brand new tub or shower, make it a reality. Give Bathfitter a call. 315-997-0787 and check them out at bathfitter.com.
The following is a paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of the show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of this station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been approved by the FDA, nor is it intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Information hereafter is for general information only, and before considering anything discussed, you should contact your doctor or primary care physician.
One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you smaller.
Your Health Matters with Karl Sterling on News Radio 570 WSYR on 106.9 FM and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
I take a couple uppers, I down a couple downers, but nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills.
Bring you the latest in health and wellness so you can get to the other things that matter. Here's your host, Karl Sterling.
All right, good afternoon. Oh, wait a minute. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another episode of Your Health Matters, right here on News Radio 570 WSYR. It's also on 106.9 FM. So today, I'm coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee area. I've been here many times. It's such a great place, so much history, so much great music. The music scene is fantastic. I'm staying here with my friend, my best friend, Don. And Don and I are having a great time here talking about things. Hey, you know what's really cool is September 4th, we're pretty sure that's the date. We're going to begin our first NeuroMotor training affiliate program in Lebanon, Texas. Oh my gosh. And I say I do better live on the air instead of recorded. Lebanon, Tennessee. Not Lebanon, even though it's spelled like that. Lebanon. Well, we were at the dojo yesterday. We're going to be there today, formulating, just fine-tuning everything. And when this thing gets started down here, it is going to be absolutely fabulous. And I'm so excited. So it's great to be back here. And of course, it's great to be back doing another episode. I can't remember exactly. I think this might be episode number 28. Can you even believe it? 28 episodes already. So Elizabeth Brusa, she has the day off today. So Elizabeth, how you doing? I hope you're doing great up there and enjoying a day off. So as you know, folks, we are a longevity theme. There's a longevity theme here with our show. Longevity is our goal with our education, our information, with the work we do at our NeuroMotor training clinic in Camillus, New York. So if you ever have questions about it, you want to stop by and just want to see what we do, well, just call me up, 315-935-7488. Come in, check it out, Check out all the stuff we have. We have stuff that nobody has for hundreds of miles around. We're blessed. We are lucky to have this state-of-the-art equipment to help you get to where you want to be more efficiently, more effectively, and just, we're really looking at improving the health span within your lifespan. So with that said, I want to tell you a little bit about this. Okay, first of all, this first half hour is just going to be me. And then at the bottom of the hour, 11:30, I have two very dear friends joining me. They were on a few weeks ago. That was one of the most listened to episodes ever. So joining me today at 11:30 will be Russ Parker and Laura Olmos. They are dear friends. They both live with Parkinson's. They are fighters. They are fighting back against Parkinson's. They're doing such an amazing job educating people all over the world. They're world renowned. They're known all over the planet for their spirit of fighting back in the face of adversity, of taking a hand that was dealt to them, that was not the optimal hand, and just turning it into the hand that they want it to be. They each have unique insights and information on how they're dealing with it, which to me is so inspiring. Because, on those days when I don't really feel like working out, which is every single day, I think of them. I think of a lot of people who come into my clinic, and I think, what's my freaking problem? I don't have a diagnosis. I don't have any problems. I got nothing like some of these other people do, a diagnosis of MS and this and that, and dementia and Alzheimer's, and maybe they can't walk for some reason, or they had a stroke. Me, nah. I'm pretty lean at this point. My body composition is the best it's been in probably 20-something years. I move well, and I'm just a lazy son of a gun sometimes. But I can't be lazy, so I decide not to be lazy. Because if we're lazy, it's not going to get us very far in our health span. We're going to spiral downward into, less than optimal health, and you know how that whole thing goes. So before I get off on a rant here, it's not even a rant. It's just, I don't ever want to work out. I've mentioned this many times on the air. I just don't want to, but I have to. I can't afford not to, and neither can you. So when you listen to Russ, you listen to Laura today, I want you to realize these people are dealing with a serious situation and serious adversity, yet they are crushing it. Not just physically going out and doing stuff, their attitude, and attitude is everything. They've inspired me so much, and I can't wait. I can't wait to have them on for, an hour and a half. It's going to be awesome. I'm loving this 2-hour format now. I got to tell you, I love it. So before we go to the first break, I wanted to go over a little information about upcoming guests that you can expect to hear from. So this coming Wednesday, I am pre-recording a 2-hour episode with best-selling author and the premier #1 researcher in the Alzheimer's arena, Dr. Dale Bredesen. Now, a lot of you already know about him. You know that upstairs from me, Dr. Joe Barry, my brother from another mother, who had this show before me for many years. Thank you, Dr. Barry, for all you did to educate people and tell them the truth. Well, Dr. Dale Bredesen is also telling you the truth. Dr. Barry is the only person, the only medical doctor implementing the Bredesen protocol in the central New York area for people living with Alzheimer's dementia. He's doing it because he cares. He's doing it because it works. And of course, we do our own thing down in my clinic too to help people with managing symptoms and hopefully reversing or at least stopping this cognitive decline, stopping or slowing down disease progression. But anyways, this Wednesday, I will be recording with Dr. Dale Bredesen. I believe he has a new book coming out, right? He has 3 best-selling books. He's going to have another one soon. He has a lot of information to share with us. I talked with him a couple weeks ago. I'm out of my mind excited about this episode. 2 weeks from now, we have Dr. Sherry Vincek joining us. If you don't know of her, you're going to want to tune in. Or if you can't, always go to karlsterling.com. That's Karl with a K. Go to the past radio shows tab, click it, and all the episodes are there on all these different platforms. Okay. Next week, I have to confirm this, but it looks like we're having Dr. Perry Nicholson with us. Now, do you remember he was on a couple of months ago? He was the lymph doc, talking all things lymphatic. So tune in, because if it's not, we're having a little scheduling issue, but we're trying to get him next week. If it's not next week, it's going to be in August sometime, okay? Because we're already in August. Can you even believe it's August already? Also coming up soon is the one and only Dr. Emily Splickle. I've had her twice before. She's going to come on for a 2-hour episode in August. Another person I just interviewed the other day, pre-recorded with, Maleha Soneji. She is from India, but she's working in the Netherlands. We're going to be talking about, I should say, we talked about human-centered product and services design. You don't want to miss this one. I got to tell you, the way she designs products is like the no-spill cup for people with tremors, right? Could be essential tremors, Parkinson's, whatever. We had Dr. Robert Lufkin coming on. In fact, we have to go to break soon, so I'm going to finish my list when we come back. But as always, I'm seeking out world-class guests. I need the people who know the most. I need the people who are telling the truth, like Dr. Joe Barry, who will be on again in the near future. Because we need people like this to hit you right between the eyes. We need a shock factor. I need it. I need it every day. And I eat it up. I eat this stuff for breakfast, folks. I just love it. 2 eggs and some shock factor and truths. All right, so you're listening to Your Health Matters right here on News Radio 570 WSYR. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Okay, folks, we're back. Let me finish my list of guests. But before I do that, I want to tell you that in the past week, I sent out invites for this radio show and actually another one that starts here in Nashville next week on WLAC. I'm so excited about this. I sent out guest invites to like my top 25 desired guests, Dr. Peter Aptia, Dr. Andrew Huberman, and a number of others. I've heard back from some that they're too busy. That's fine. Atia's too busy. Maybe in the future, they said, hey, that'd be great. You all know who he is, right? Because Dr. Barry talked about him, and I do too. Well, we have another gentleman here, Dr. Robert Lufkin. All right. He wrote a book, a best-selling book, that has been controversial, which means I love it, because it's a truth-telling book. It's called Lies I Taught in Medical School. Okay, folks, so write that down. Lies I Taught in Medical School. I won't say too much more because you can only imagine what that one's all about, right? Kind of like Joe Barry talking about the lies the medical world's telling you. Now, that's not all the time. Of course, it's not all the time. We have some great doctors out there, great practitioners, but there are a lot of lies. There's a lot of negligence. And, we just need to be educated and look out for ourselves, advocate for ourselves. And for those who we love who maybe can't advocate, we need to advocate for them. So he'll be on at some point in a couple of months. Dr. Ray Dorsey, who wrote the book called Ending Parkinson's. He was on back in March or April. He's coming back. Dr. Joe Barry, we don't know when, but he'll be here. Dr. Steven Sideroff, he was referred to me by Dr. Lufkin. He wrote this really cool book called The 9 Pillars of Resilience. Well, it's not just like a book about success that talks about what you should do. This talks about neural pathways in the brain for those who develop successful habits, not only like business and, success in relationships and business, but success in health, maintaining your health. You got to get the book. 9 Pillars of Resilience. And then the last one on my list, but not the last one to join, is going to be Dr. Vonda Wright. Dr. Vonda Wright is, I'm going to read to you right here. So here we go, a little script. Double board certified orthopedic surgeon, a researcher. She's focused on optimizing personal and professional performance at every age. It's amazing. Her work is amazing. So I would like to shift gears here for the next 10 minutes and just talk about some things that are on my mind. All right. I've been reading a lot. I read every day. First thing I do when I get up after I make coffee is read. Could be a book, could be article, could be research. But I have a question. I want you to really think about this. If you know the following things I'm about to share, why wouldn't you take action if you need to take action? why wouldn't you take action towards living, let's say, a healthier lifestyle? Will you live longer? Your quality of life is extended. Will you get extra years, extra good years in your life? I'm going to steal something from Dr. Joe Berry. My friend Don McPeak, we were talking about this morning. So this is not me, folks, but I'm going to say it. Dr. Berry says often, well, I hope you all just drop dead. Oh my gosh, that sounds horrible. But guess what? Dr. Berry doesn't want you to die now. He just wants you to die quick, not soon. That's how I feel too. I don't want you to have a long, agonizing death that takes you years and years and decades and you're bedridden. And I mean, obviously, folks, there are times when you can't help it. There's certain things are out of your control. So please know that I'm not here to make, anyone feel bad or say that, if you're bedridden that you shouldn't be. No. But there are a lot of people who, if they make decisions and they take action to live a better quality of life, live healthier, well, they're going to, more than likely, right? I mean, when you look at it, my saying I say all the time is, think about this, really, really think about this. Whose burden do you want to be? Do you want to be a burden to your loved ones, to your friends, to your family? I do not want to be a burden. I hope I just drop dead quickly. Oh, sounds crazy, right? No, I'm telling you the truth. I just want to be gone, just like that. I don't want to see it coming, Maybe a piano falls out of the sky and it lands on my head. At least I won't know anything. But I will have lived the best life I can, because this is what I do. So let's talk about some random facts. Do you know that when your weight goes up, now I'm not talking about lean muscle mass and healthy weight. I'm talking about unhealthy weight, too much fat, too little muscle, and too much visceral fat. When your weight goes up, your brain size goes down. So that should really scare the fat off of you, because it scared the fat off of me. Do you know that in this country, we have military fitness issues? There really aren't quite enough people who are healthy enough, fit enough to join the military without going. They have special camps now for people to go to before they go to boot camp. It didn't used to be like that. 70% of our population here in this country are overweight, 40% are obese. It's too bad. It didn't used to be that way. When I was a kid, I don't know. I remember maybe 2, I think, or maybe 3 obese kids out of 185 graduating class, and a few overweight. But no, it wasn't like there was hardly any type 2 diabetes back in the day. Well, it's different now. So, but we know, all this stuff. I know you do, but I'm here to hammer it on you every week, right? So, that low-fat diets can trigger depression. Do you know that? You want to eat a fat that's healthy and get enough of it. I mean, we're usually talking something 30, 35, 40% healthy fats in your diet. Clean protein. What's clean protein? Well, it sounds like what it is. I mean, it is what it sounds like. Clean protein, not some meats filled with all kinds of hormones and chemicals and all that. Grass-fed, probably cage-free or, no antibiotics, just, organic. Do you know that a high fasting blood sugar, this is going to steal your mind because of what it does to the brain. We don't want to have blood sugar that's too high, ever. This is associated actually with brain atrophy. It makes blood vessels more brittle and more likely to break. A new term I heard of this week from Dr. Daniel Amen, the Amen Clinics, California, brilliant guy. Diobesity. Well, it's a combination of being overweight and with high blood sugar. Diobesity kind of sums up, a lot of the people out there. And again, I apologize if I'm hurting anybody's feelings. I'm just stating facts. And you know why I'm able to do this? First of all, I know these things, but you know what else? I've been obese. I had a short time in my life. I was so darn heavy. It was embarrassing. You should see the photos. It's disgusting. I couldn't even look at them. So you know what? If I can lose 70 pounds, so can you. I'll help you do it. It's not rocket science, you know. We have a guy who came in, lost 100 pounds in the past 2 years. 100. He just hit the 100-pound mark the other day. Another one lost 70 pounds. Well, that's the way it goes. When you do this stuff, you get the results. They show up every week, 2-3 times a week. They do the work. They go home. They eat right. They're getting results. They feel better. They're not depressed anymore. They're not all stooped over and schlepping their legs all over the place because they can barely hold their weight. I've been there. But you know what? If you want to change it, you can. Do you know that simple carbohydrates, those are really the lesser desired of the two? You got complex, triple bond, takes longer to break down in your digestive tract. Then you got simple, like confectionery sugar, or Snickers bar, or whatever. Those simple carbs drive tryptophan into the brain, and they become addictive. Let me tell you an anecdote for that. It's called exercise, because exercise drives tryptophan into the brain as well. Oh, who knew? Well, you know that athletes who get injured and can't exercise, when they start eating carbs, they tend to get depressed. For a lot of reasons. They can't do what they wanted to do. They're injured. Maybe they had surgery. They start eating carbs. There's studies on all this stuff. If you want the data, I have citations for all of it. So we want to get into the 21st century, folks. We want to get into this century and rescue your brain. We want to revolutionize your brain. It's really time, folks, to step up and just face it. Look in the mirror and say, am I doing the right things? Because only you will know. Well, others will too, I'm sure. But is your inner self, can you look at yourself in the mirror and say, yes, I did the right things today, right before you go to bed. I ate well, I exercised. Or did that bag of Doritos somehow get in your belly? Oh, I've been there. I know. I love those silly things. They're so bad for you, but I love them. So get them away from yourself. Don't buy them. So anyways, we have this amazing thing as humans. It's called free will. It allows you to reinvent yourself. It allows you to reinvent your brain. Behaviors can derail you, they can kill you, or they can make you. If you live to age 85, statistically, you have a 1 in 2 chance of getting dementia. Oh my gosh. So if you have a partner, one of you is going to get it statistically. Well, that's what I wanted to share today, random thoughts, because just being real for a minute, yes, I talk about it a lot. I've been overweight. I spent a lot of years overweight and then a time obese. And when I decided to make a change, it started with a decision. It's like anything in life. I decide this, and I cannot be derailed. Nobody can get me off track. Maybe you have to distance yourself from certain people or not associate with certain people. Maybe they want you to go out drinking or whatever. Here, have this French fry. Have all the French fries. Have the whatever. Well, it's up to you. When I stopped drinking, I put down the bottle, and that was it, cold turkey. No 12-step, no nothing. I just decided I'm done. I don't like how it makes me feel, and I know my brain's turning to mush, and I don't want it to get any mushier than it is because it probably has enough mush in it already. But thankfully, I'm able to come up with stuff to say that I think is relevant. So think about your future. Think about, do you want to be a burden to somebody? Oh man, I do not want to be one. I don't want to get to my dying day and say, oh my gosh, shoulda, coulda, didn't. We have to go to break. When we come back, we have 2 very special guests with us. I can't wait to talk with them. My name is Karl Sterling. This is Your Health Matters on 570 WSYR. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Rose Tamburino.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. It's time to introduce two very special guests, two very dear friends. Both of these amazing human beings live with Parkinson's disease. I've known each of them many years. They know each other, and I've really been inspired so much by them. And they were on the show a few weeks ago. And as I said earlier, it was one of the most listened to shows, so they're back. Back with me today is my dear friend Laura Olmos and mi hermano de otra madre. In English, that's my brother from another mother, Russ Parker. How are you guys doing?
Good, how are you? It's nice being here. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you, Laura. Thank you. And Russ, how are you?
Great to be back here again. I'm doing well.
So last time when you were on last month, the coolest thing happened because on the outro of the show, you went into a rap song, and we decided to let you close out the show, and that was it. That was so cool, Russ.
I felt bad. Thank you, but I felt bad actually because Laura didn't get to say her final word, but we'll give her the last word today.
All right, we'll have extra time today too. Well, you know, some of the comments I've had and questions, so I have a few questions, and I think maybe let's start, Laura, with you.
Okay.
Questions from people who heard the first show. The most asked question is, how do you stay so positive?
Well, I think over the years I've learned, I always ask myself, why? You know, why this? Why my condition? Why did I have this diagnosis so young? Why did I have it at all? So I just thought that you always have two choices, right, in life. And one of those choices for me at that moment was to be happy or not, to be positive or not, to work on it or not, to just somehow try to manage it or not. So I chose to be happy. I just chose to be positive about it and just keep on and learn more, exercise. And I think that's it. I think I just thought I had two choices, and I chose for the positive one and for the happiest one.
Well, I mean, I've been with you, and I've been with Russ. Each of us independently has traveled a fair amount together. You know, Laura has been my translator and co-instructor many times. Russ and I have taught many locations together. And so I've been able to watch both of you, be inspired by you. And it just seems to me like, you know, going back to what I was saying in the last segment about free will, seems like it might be a choice. You just decide, I'm going to be happy. Russ,
Yeah.
how about for you? I mean, how do you approach this when you're having a bad day? You get up in the morning and you're not feeling so good, let's say, or movement is tough, or whatever it is you're dealing with. How do you move forward and stay so positive?
You know, some of it is just a lot of balance. You know, I believe you should be an optimist, which I am, but you should also be a realist. So when bad things do happen, you have to decide at the point. You know, do I need to? What can I do about this? What can I control? So you know, your attitude towards things that are like out of your control is important. I can't stop myself from being sad when something a real tragedy or something bad happens like that, you know, most people will get sad about it. But I realize over the years, I've just built up some resilience. And I really think it would be very tough for me to get in like a state of depression, which I'm thankful for that like if something really sad happens, sure, maybe, something happens to someone else, maybe I'll cry or be sad. but then I say, what can I do either for these people, or what can I do just to go on with my life? Because just that's the way it is. You just got to keep moving forward, and worrying doesn't do any good. I always talk about that a lot. How worry is so anti-productive, counterproductive. Worrying's a waste of time. You could, there was a quote, something like, a day of worrying is like something. It has something to do with work. Now I'm trying to remember. A day of worrying is, could cost you like how many days of work or something like that. I don't know. I forget what the quote is now. I'm trying to remember.
No, it's okay. I mean, a long time ago, back when I was in the real estate business in the early 90s, there's my main mentor in that business, Peter Babbles. If you listen to this, thank you for your wisdom, because I never forgot a lot of things you told me, Peter. He said, Karl, you're worrying too much. So you have to realize that at least 90% of what you worry about will never actually happen. And I didn't believe him, but of course it's actually true. I still refer back to being in his office that day. And I think about it often. There's certain things that come up in life, obviously, and we're like, oh, geez, what if this, what if that? Well, what if I stop worrying about it? Because it probably won't happen anyways. Mm-hmm. So that's my way of dealing. Unless, it's really something imminent, then I've got to make maybe some plans to deal. But
I got the quote, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
A day of worrying is more exhausting than a week of work. John Lubbock is the guy who said that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a great one. Good
It's
one.
true.
Yeah. So another question that came up from people is, it has to do with medications. This is a handful of people who are on, let's say, dopamine replacement medications. And actually, I don't want to get into this right now. We have to go to break in a little over a minute. I'm going to put this question out there. Then we'll go to break. And then, Laura, when we come back, I'll have you answer for me. But how is it, how do you find best, even though there are recommendations on how to take your medication, like, don't mix it with protein or a certain number of hours before you eat, or another question, how are you able to possibly determine, or maybe fathom that maybe you need a dosage change, maybe you need more, or maybe you need less? Is there a way that you get triggered? Like, is it something you talk with your now? So don't answer right now. We're going to break in 20 seconds. Russ Parker, Laura Olmos, my dear friends, so good to have you with me. They are Parkinson's fighters. They are fighting back. Inspirational. I'm so glad to have you with me. Come back with us after the break, folks. Stay tuned. We're going to go right to 1 o'clock with Russ and Laura. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay, we're back with Russ Parker, Laura Olmos, and I'm going to just repeat this question. I have a number of questions here. So, Laura, is there ever a time when you're just really struggling with movement, coordination, or anything at all, Parkinson's-related symptoms, let's say, that causes you to wonder or think, geez, maybe my dopamine replacement, levodopa, cinnamate, whatever, it's not working as well, and I need to get checked? How do you...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead with that, please.
Thank you. Yeah, there is, for example, I have pain sometimes I normally didn't have before, or sometimes I have more rigidity or problems with my movement. So I don't go to the doctor at that time. I just observe myself, go back to what I've been doing, for example, my nutrition, what have, but I didn't eat even, I mean, my supplements, my emotions, I observe them a lot. Maybe I had a discussion with someone, or maybe I need to go to physiotherapy, or maybe I just need to have I been drinking enough water? I just go over this, and maybe in one of those is the answer I just need. I just need to work out a little bit more, walk a little bit more, or maybe I'm not eating correctly. I just, for some reason, I just started to eat differently. So I just go back to those, maybe just those aspects, and then if I can't do anything that make that work, I go to the doctor. But until I just do all of that, I observe myself and all of these things I observe in me. Most of the time, they do work.
That's good. So you've been living with this for over a decade, well over a decade, and so you know your body, you know how to deal. Like you know what's probably best to test yourself, maybe make yourself feel better, and then if that doesn't work, if all the options they're not working, you go to the doctor.
It's sometimes if I just need to feel more happy. For example, I'm home and just, oh my God, it hurts. And then if I go out and just see nature and just see my friends or see family, I just feel great again. I mean, sometimes it's just that maybe anxiety. I don't exactly know the reason always, but I just explore options, and sometimes, most times they work.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Well, you mentioned something there about friends, and I know you have many friends, and it's so important that, well, statistically, let's just talk about statistics. When people start to withdraw from society and gatherings, well, for almost all people, there's always a percentage that doesn't need anyone, it seems, but there are the rest of us who do. I mean, social connections are highly correlated with longevity and quality of life. And very sadly, I remember during the height of COVID, going to some nursing home visits where people are alone and they're isolated and they're not allowed to go out and play bingo or bridge or go to the cafeteria, and they're alone. And the only people they see might be me and maybe a nurse who comes in or an aide, and they got nothing. I mean, and the mortality rate went up during those times because they're so isolated. In fact, I'm going off a little. I don't mean to take away from what you're saying, but I remember being at this one nursing home, walking outside and seeing chairs set up outside windows for those who had a window view and could get a visitor on the other side. They could talk through the window. That's how bad it was. It was how sad it was. So I'm going off on this partially because I want to share that people realize that social connections are very important, and I'm glad you're maintaining.
I want to add something if I can. Sometimes I have to push myself to do it, because Parkinson's is like just in your head sometimes, and you don't want to do things. You don't want to stay home, but you just don't want to go out. So I just know this and just say, and I have to go out. And I just call my friends and say, we have to see, and we have to just go out somewhere. I just need to see you. And I go with my yoga friends or with my family. I go with my whatever friends and just hang out because I push myself to do this. I don't want to go out. My condition maybe doesn't, I don't know, I want to be by myself. And I just noticed this and I pushed myself, just go out, go see trees, go see people walking, go see, just distract my brain. And I always do.
Yeah, sorry, I lost you for a second, but I'm going to intervene just because I can't hear you right now. It's a little broken up. But I love that. And you're talking about that. You have to push yourself to do it. It's kind of like me pushing myself to exercise.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to do it. So question for you, Russ, is basically it's the same question plus. And I know you are an exerciser, just like Laura is an exerciser. What are the things that help you to move better, feel better? And do you have to push yourself to get started?
Yeah, the pushing myself part is hard sometimes. It's just, I think it happens to everybody, and even though I'm a trainer, I've been involved in fitness a lot, I've been an exerciser. sometimes you still get in a rut. And just admitting that problem was one of the first steps that's good, because I think when I was listening to Laura, I'm saying to myself, I think much the same way. You could feel a little sluggish and not do things, but you know what you got to do. So as far as, the ultimate responsibility falls on me, but if, there's a multitude of ways you could pull out of things. And one of the methods I used recently was bringing in other people. I just wasn't motivated to get in the adequate amount of workouts to keep my symptoms under control. So I signed up for a boxing class. I go into Zumba, and now I'm getting actually private personal training too from another Parkinson's expert at Motivation. I don't know if you heard of them, with Darby Schlosser.
Yeah. Totally.
I'm working with her.
Oh,
and
man,
she's
excellent. You're in great hands there. That's great.
And
I like that.
Also,
it's like you're
monitoring my off time too. So I actually like to have some off time, because it puts me in touch with the disease, and then I monitor my movement and try to come up with things to improve my movement in off time too, not just when I'm on.
Well, let me ask you this. When you're not, and Russ, this is for you, and then we're going to ask Laura the same question, but so when you're not feeling good, let's just say you're feeling sad or lethargic, or you just don't want to get going, or you do want to get going, but you're just having trouble. What's your first move? What's the first thing you're doing to get out of that state?
I mean, it could be multiple things, but it's basically do some of the things I know that work. I put on music. I go, if it's a nice sunny day, I go outside. Well, even if it's not a sunny day, it's nicer stepping outside than being inside. I just try to move, even if it's just simple movement. Or I'll try to complete a task. I find that checking something off my to-do list, even if it's just, making some reservations or appointments or whatever is on the to-do list, just getting a few things like that out of the way actually is a dopamine boost. So I kind of just, when that happens, I was like, okay, I got to get going and doing something. And then it varies what I do. I love music. That gives me a lift, and music and dancing.
Oh, I know Laura does too, don't you, Laura?
Yes.
I remember, so Russ and I, when I met you, Laura, Russ was with me, and Ruben and Dr. Stuart Gillespie, right? So we're in Austin, Texas, and Laura comes up to me, looking at me and smiling, like she's always smiling, right? And I'm thinking, oh, she must not be the one she doesn't have Parkinson's. And then she says, I have Parkinson's, because you would never guess she has Parkinson's. So anyways, but we got into the activities, especially the dancing. And Russ, I think you were leading a dance segment in that class. You had everybody moving and grooving, and Laura was like on fire. It was great. I loved that. And the spirit of the whole place just lightened right up. It was so cool.
Yeah, dance and even just moving to music is wonderful thing. I like to emphasize that point, because I know there's people, and it's, I guess, more men than women, who kind of shy away from dance. So when if I ever do a workshop or anything, and it's on that topic, I try to include words like rhythmic movement and stuff like that, and not emphasize the dance part too much. So I figure I get some people in there to help them, discover the beauty of moving to music.
Well, it kind of comes down to, and both of you may remember the slide we teach from early on in my presentation at any of the Parkinson's courses I teach, wherever. I got one of them that has a combination of these little images like barefoot, outdoors, gamify.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Play, include play, and music. Those are the 5 things on it. And if you think about that, we can go right to John Rady's amazing work called Well, he's done a lot of books. He's the best-selling author. I'm trying to get him on the show. We're communicating, but I can't nail him down to a date yet. But I will. I'm going to get him. He wrote a book called Spark. He wrote a book called Go Wild. Go Wild is one of my favorites because it talks about all these aspects of being a human being, right? So as human beings, we can have different issues. I mean, Parkinson's doesn't define Russ. It doesn't define Laura. You are you. You happen to live with Parkinson's. I mean, I live with blood clots and new hips and tight calves. I mean, it's like my tight calves don't, my tight Achilles tendon doesn't define me. That sounds ridiculous, but I'm just trying to illustrate that as humans, we tend to like a lot of the same things. Like, we enjoy being outside, a lot of us. We enjoy gamification. We enjoy other people. We enjoy play, right? So it looks like we might have to go to a break here. Laura, we're going to get with you here at the top of the hour, right after the news. You're listening to News Radio 570 WSYR, Your Health Matters. My name's Karl Sterling, and we'll be back after the noon break.
It's a paid program by Karl is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of the station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been approved by the FDA, nor is it intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Information has been for general information only, and before considering anything discussed, you should contact your doctor or primary care physician. The following is a paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of the show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of this station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been approved by the FDA, nor is it intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Information hereafter is for general information only, and before considering anything discussed, you should contact your doctor or primary care physician.
One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you smaller.
Your Health Matters with Karl Sterling on News Radio 570 WSYR on 106.9 FM and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
I take a couple lovers, I down a couple downers, but nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills.
Bring you the latest in health and wellness so you can get to the other things that matter. Here is your host, Karl Sterling.
All right, folks, we're back for another hour. I got to tell you, I'm loving this 2-hour format because there's so much more we can cover. Grateful for the second hour. Thank you, Hunter Hillers. You are the best. And Phil Mercado, who I've never met. I hope to meet you one day, Phil. Okay, so we're with Russ Parker and Laura Olmos. Before we get back to talking with them, I need to talk about one of our sponsors, because without our sponsors, I cannot do this show. With the sponsors, I can do this show. And I want to tell you a little bit about Motion Guidance. Motion Guidance is a system that we have in our clinic. It's designed to enhance rehabilitation, to enhance performance training, and motor learning. And it does this primarily through visual feedback. So I'll give you a little description how it works. For example, there's a laser pointer device. We oftentimes use it on the little headband. We mount it on there. And then what we do is we have targets on the wall that come with the system, right? So we get the person positioned in the posture that is optimal based on what they can do, keeping them safe. We don't want to throw off their equilibrium and have them fall backwards or something, but we want to improve posture. So it's one step at a time. We get this thing on them, and then we point the laser at the target. Their job is to walk towards that target, keep the laser in the target, and then turn around and walk towards the other target. So it's an adjustable laser pointer, can be attached to different parts of the body. So we oftentimes want to cue a range of motion. Maybe it's a shoulder lack of mobility, or a hip or a knee or anything, right? So again, we find a target or a grid, we point the beam at it, we give them a range we want to go with the target, and it's awesome. It is absolutely amazing. My friend Eric Dinkins, who is the co-founder, I believe, and co-owner of the company, he really came up with a great product. And soon we're going to have the pods that they use. So that's a whole nother thing. And when they come out, I'll have it on my website. You can check it out. But if you're in the physical therapy business, if you're a personal trainer, or even you just want to do this at home, it's not like rocket science to figure out how to use this thing. And we're not talking, big bucks here. Of course, it's all relative. We're not talking $5,000 for the unit. We're talking a couple $100, $200, $300, $400. You can have a system delivered to you, and it's going to last you a long time. We've had ours 2.5 years. It works perfectly. It's amazing. Right, so the laser pointer, let me just talk about the visual feedback. As the user is performing these movements, of course, the laser is projecting a visible beam, a beam that you can use on the target to keep you on that target. I mean, you probably figured that out from what I said before, but the bottom line is, without that visual cueing, it can be a lot more difficult. Everyone responds to cueing differently. Some people respond really well to a verbal cue or a physical cue. Others don't. And visual, we find that to be the most effective. So if you want to check out this product, I highly suggest going to motionguidance.com. Motionguidance.com. It's going to help you with immediate feedback. It's going to help you to relearn, refine motor learning skills, understand the correct position and range of motion you should be with whatever body part you're working on. And the list goes on and on, folks. So go to motionguidance.com, check it out. Tell them that Karl sent you. All right, back with Laura and Russ here. We were talking about movement, exercise, getting started. Laura, how about you? Well, I have a question for you. We already kind of talked about this, but I want to get a little bit more specific. Is there anything that you do in particular? It's like your number one go-to. This almost always works to make me feel better. Is there something you do, an activity, an exercise, a social thing? And the reason I'm asking is I want people to realize that they might have some options. They need to experiment if they're feeling down, they're feeling lethargic, and they have Parkinson's, or maybe even not have Parkinson's. Like, do you have anything that you do that really works for you as your go-to?
Oh, yes, thank you. The first thing is I just, in 2 words, I just could say enjoy life. I enjoy life. How? Well, for example, when I'm not feeling good, like maybe I don't have so long periods, but when I do, I somehow just distract my brain. I play with my dog. I listen to music. I sing. I get in touch with the ground. Sometimes when I can't walk, when I'm able to, I just go to the floor and just move. I just maybe do animal flow movements, and then meditate, yoga, stretching. And when I am feeling with a lot of energy, that's most of the time, because I just take so much care of my person and of my hobby. I do yoga, I do aqua fitness, I do tai chi, I almost try everything. But sometimes when I can't do it as other people can, I just adapt it to myself, adapt the movements, adapt the exercise I'm doing, and I just don't judge myself. I just do what I can do. Sometimes I could just maybe walk for 20 minutes, sometimes 1 hour, sometimes more. So I think the key word for me, or the key words, I just enjoy life as it is. I just accept myself. I don't judge. I just try any exercise I feel good with. I enjoy.
I love it. I love it. So Russ, we actually have to go to a break again in a minute and a half. So when we come back, Russ, I want to talk about the attachment you emailed to me yesterday. It's really, really inspiring, all these things that you wrote out, and I'd like to talk about that with you. So hang on, my friend. When we come back, we'll be talking. In the meantime, folks, I want you to know that over in Camilla's, Elizabeth Brusa works with me. Many of you already know her, and she's here a lot with me co-hosting. And we have a clinic where we have created a community. You know, sadly, we have quite a few people who have lost their spouse. You know, a lot of widowers. You know, a lot of them, they've even lost adult children. I mean, my gosh, I can't even imagine. And sometimes they have felt isolated here and there, but when they come to see us, they know that they're going to be welcomed with open arms. We care, and you know, it's a small place, but it's big enough for a lot of us to get in there, and we make sure everybody knows everybody. It's a community, very supportive of each other. And we'll talk more about it later in the next segment. But right now, we're going to break, and we'll be back here in a couple of minutes with Russ and Laura. Thanks so much for listening. All right, folks, we are back. And I have something I'd like to read here, written by my buddy Russ. And then I'd like to talk about this. This really reaches out and pulls at my heart and makes me smile because of the spirit of this letter. It's called A Letter to Parkinson's Disease. Dear Parkinson's Disease, you can knock me down, but I will get back up fighting harder. If you make it hard for me to do certain things, I will keep trying to do those things regardless. I know you will not relent, but neither will I. If you think you can break my spirit, think again. I have wonderful people helping me, friends, family, health and fitness professionals, other PD warriors who will rise up with me too. Watch your back, Parkinson's, because you're going to get hit from all sides. You may win some battles, but ultimately, you're going down for the count. You don't know who you're messing with. Sincerely, Russ Parker and friends. In parentheses, it says, your worst nightmare. Russ, that's beautiful. And I have no questions at this point. I just want you to talk. I want you to say what's on your mind. I want you to talk about, what do you want to share with the world? We have listeners all over the globe who check out this program, for which I'm grateful. Please, just go for it.
I just think that the world is full of good things, and sometimes you have to find them. You have to find the answers. And if you bring in people that are caring, surround yourself with people who are kind, caring, and smart, that you'll see good things happen. There's one piece of advice I would give on being resilient. Some folks, I believe, are a little misguided on what being resilient means. Part of the formula in resilience is grit. You know, having a lot of heart and trying hard and pushing hard. But that alone, I don't think will do it. I think you need knowledge and ability as well. So knowledge is just learning new things, and learning well from failure. And ability just means, you know, after you've learned, you've adapt. So now you have the ability to handle different situations. So the bad example, you know, that I was thinking of with the grit is, you know, just a person who decides they're going to do some sort of challenge and forges ahead with pretty much just nothing's going to stop me, but not the knowledge of how to progress properly, how much is too much, that type of thing. So you can't just all of a sudden decide one day you're going to climb a Mount Kilimanjaro and you've only walked 2 miles or something, you know, because you have grit, you know. You know, there are people who could get through things, but that may not even be healthy anyway. You know, somebody who does a marathon, and the previous long run they did was only like 6 miles or something, in their training. They'll probably be able to get through that, but it's not particularly healthy. So I think there's a balance.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. But got to keep moving. Keep moving forward. Laura, what's your take on all this? I think your mic might be muted. Let's unmute you. And
Is that good?
yeah, good. We got you.
Well,
Yeah, what do you think
first of all,
about?
thank you. Yes. Well, I think that we're persons and that we have to see that first. For example, as I said, I observe myself a lot. I just see who I am. What can I do? Who am I? I ask myself. Well, I'm a woman. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I just put myself as a person and not as a diagnosis of Parkinson's. Then I ask myself, how do I feel? What can I do? Well, I could exercise. I could be happy. I could feel sad. I could feel grateful. And then, just after asking me these questions and have just the answer myself, and upon a diagnosis, upon a PD diagnosis having Parkinson's condition, I just prepare myself. I just know what do I have to do. But first, I think the most important thing is you as a person. We are not Parkinson's. We are persons that Russ, me, myself, and some other many people who have this condition. I think the most important thing is see us as a person, just not pretend of ourselves. Like I am Laura. I have 11 years with Parkinson's diagnosis. No, first see us as a person, and then just, I happen to have Parkinson's disease. So just work on it. Know that you're not alone. That has worked for me a lot, because sometimes you just forget about yourself. You forget about what you like, what you know. Sometimes you think you can just raise up your hand. When you do it, sometimes you can't. So just make yourself conscious of what you can do. Who are you? Just don't put Parkinson's. Don't present yourself as Parkinson's. Present yourself as who you really are.
Can I chime in on Laura's comments?
Please, yeah, absolutely. Please do.
I thought that was a perfect compliment to what I said, because I didn't say what you said, Laura, which I totally agree with. And what I heard you say is that it's important to know who you are and what's important to you. When you decide to do something, it relates, you feel very passionately because it relates to who you are as a person. That's what I took away from that. And it's important to know what's important to you, not just to do something because some group of people is doing it and it's the fad or whatever. You do things, you take into consideration, that you're a mom and everything else that's your identity.
Exactly.
Sure.
Sometimes you forget about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I have a question, more of a statement, I guess, but I guess it's a question. So I've been told by quite a few people over the years, and independently, it's not like they got together and said anything to me, decided something. They each have mentioned this. Instead of saying, hey, how are you doing? Well, I don't want anyone to feel insulted by this, but they have said it'd be really much nicer if people might ask, like, how can I help you? Is there anything I can do for you? Especially if they see maybe you're struggling with something. And this could be just in life in general, right? But do you have any feelings about this? Because I actually hadn't thought of it. I'm always thinking, how are you doing? Well, I don't know if anyone wants to really talk about that, but what can I do to help you? I like that a lot better. How do you feel about that?
Can I answer that? Okay, well, first, how are you doing? Do we really answer the question? We usually say, "Oh, great, you're doing good. I'm okay." Because sometimes we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But maybe, how's your day going? Different than how you doing. Or sometimes, like, just maybe say, if somebody asks you, how are you doing? Maybe just say the truth. I'm struggling a bit, but I'm working on it. Or it's gonna be a better day. I just need time, or whatever you feel. Maybe just I feel extremely happy right now. I feel full of energy. Just be
Yeah.
honest with your answer.
That's, yeah, because there's sometimes when, we probably don't hear the answer. How you doing? Horrible. I feel awful. I'm depressed. Like, I'm constipated. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can happen, right? I don't mean to be like inappropriate here, but I mean, there are all kinds of things that can be bothering us as humans in general. Russ, we're going to talk with you when we come back. We've got a break coming up shortly, but I really like this. How can I help you? Which I actually do that with pretty much everybody now, because I just think it's a nice way to go. And that's just my opinion, folks. So anyways, you're listening to Your Health Matters here on News Radio 570 WSYR, also on 106.9 FM. I have with me two of my great friends, Russ Parker and Laura Olmos. They live with Parkinson's. They're fighting back, and we'll be back in a couple minutes to talk more with them.
Tamburino.
Okay, everyone, we're back. And before we get back to Russ and Laura, I have a product I'd like to talk about, okay? Because again, I can't do this show if I don't have sponsors. I only have sponsors who have epic products, okay? You heard about motion guidance, so be sure to go to motionguidance.com. But also be sure to go to Dr. Dr. That is Dr. Lewis, Lewis, nutrition.com. Dr. Lewis, nutrition.com. Okay, so I've been taking this brain formula, it's daily brain care, for the better part of a year. And you know what? I love it. I love it. I actually notice it more now when I don't take it, because I feel very, very, very slightly, more brain fog. But, for me, that's almost normal, right? But with the brain care, I really do feel more mental clarity. I've been able to be more articulate, focused, organized, succinct. And I am even better in my exercise programming, because I'm just doing a better job. It helps me sleep better. It's a powerful combination of 6 functional foods with full spectrum molecular weight, most concentrated and highest bioavailable polysaccharides, including a whole bunch of things. All right. Some of you may be on Prevagen. All I'm going to say about that is try this out instead, because Prevagen, it might be helping you. If it's helping you, great. Maybe you want to check with your doctor before you change something. All right, I'm back like a bad penny. I keep showing up, everybody. I really appreciate you staying here and listening. So I'd like to talk about one more sponsor, because we're grateful to our sponsors to partner with us to make this show possible. That would be Play on Relief Pain Spray. We had Eva Beam, a co-founder, on last week, and that was just great to hear how this came about and how it works. Well, we've been using it now for many months in my clinic. We have people buying bottles of it all the time. Play on Pain Spray Relief is like nothing else I've ever used, and I wouldn't say that if it wasn't true, because a lot of things don't work on me, like Voltaren and Blue Emo. Love them, but they just don't work that well. Well, this one, what I love is that it's all natural ingredients. Now, natural is not always good, but in this case, it is good, because there's nothing bad that's natural in it, right? So we have active ingredients that include menthol, to provide that cooling sensation, to let's say, relieve minor aches and pains of muscles and joints. We have CAM4, which kind of acts as a counter irritant, if you will, providing a warming sensation that helps distract from pain. Then we have arnica. I mean, if you've heard of arnica, it's awesome stuff. So you just spray it on the area with pain. You don't even wipe it. You spray it. It dries quickly, soaks right into your skin. Excuse me. Obviously, you keep it away from your mouth, nose, and eyes, right? But I sprayed my neck, especially the right side upper trap, because it seems like when I drive longer distances, then I tend to drive a way that hurts that because I should drive differently. I choose not to because I'm lazy. Okay, sometimes I'm lazy. But anyways, it's not greasy. It soaks right in, and it targets the pain beautifully. It lasts 2 to 3 times as long as anything else I've ever used, and that's what every single person who uses it says. Straight across the board. This is dozens of people. If you want to buy it, you can come in and stop in my clinic at NeuroMotor Training in Camillus, $25 a bottle, or go online to playonrelief.com. Actually, go to karlsterling.com. You know why? Because there's a discount code there. I think it still works, 20% off. If not, I'm sorry if it doesn't work, but it's still going to be worth it for you to get it. So anyways, we're back here. I want to finish up. We're going to finish up the show. Amazing how fast time goes. We have some takeaway messages from Russ and Laura. We're going to start off with Russ. Russ, first of all, my brother, I love you. You're such a great friend. You're such a great inspiration. And thanks for joining me. And share with me, please, what's the takeaway message you want to resonate in people's minds after we finish the show?
Well, I like mantras, and I'll name 3 of them. One of them is one that people have used before, but the other 2 are things I made up. One is, I say a lot, be relentless, limitless, and fearless. And I've seen that before. And it's pretty self-explanatory. So I won't go through that. But here's another quote I made up as far as movement goes, just for people with Parkinson's and movement disorder. Don't underestimate the power of positivity to help your movement. Don't underestimate the power of movement to help your positivity.
Whoa.
And last of all, don't underestimate yourself.
That's epic. Absolutely epic. I love it.
The last thing I'd like to say is I have another little saying I made up. Hold on. Let me get it. I have it up on my, I want to make sure. There we go. Be an optimist, a realist, a lover, and a geek. So an optimist, you know what that is. Stay positive. Yep. Have faith in your abilities. Be grateful for what you have. Don't get bogged down by fear of things that may never happen. Be a realist. Be a lover. Love people. Love activities, life. Love yourself. And be a geek. Learn, plan, adapt. You should be an expert on the things that are important to you.
And I love it. Whenever you and I are together, we geek out.
Right?
I love
it. Geeking out with you, brother.
You too, my friend. Thank you so much. And Laura, I know you have a takeaway message too. Please, let's bring it on.
Okay, well, when I stopped asking myself why, I just went for what, and I started, like I said, being conscious of who I am, what can I do, adapt what I do based on my own necessities. Maybe just stop doing what people just expected of me, and just start to do what I have perfect opportunity. Also, just do things without judging myself. And after we talked about all of this in this program, I just like people just to ask themselves, is it luck that I'm doing okay? Is it because I have Parkinson's that I'm not? Well, I could tell you that for me, it's not luck. For me, it's discipline. It's choices I've made to be happy, to have positivity. Just a lot of will, a lot of exercise training, just being conscious of what I eat, of how much water I drink, of collecting happy moments, and just notice that life is short. Just make the most of it as it is.
Laura, that's beautiful. I mean, I love both of you so much. You're amazing humans. Your doctor there, Dr. Morelos, who I also love, even though I hardly know him, but we met once online. And I know you surprised him, which really makes me happy because you're that patient who goes in, who's just doing so well, and he knows you're doing well, and he tells you you're doing well. You and I have spent time together. We talked about all this stuff, but to me, that's so inspiring because you're taking the bull by the horns, if you will, to the best of your ability, and you're just steering in the direction you want to go. And you have adversity, you have bad days, you have moments with pain, you have festering of the feet, some freezing, you can't get started, you freeze up, whatever, but you still fight. You wait a couple minutes, you talk to yourself, you tell Timmy, you get out of the way. And by the way, on June 16th, Russ and Laura were with me. So just go check out that show because they were on for the second hour. And Laura talks in that episode about the name she gives Parkinson's. It's Timothy or Timmy.
Timothy.
And I've been with you when you say Timmy's here, I got to get rid of him. I love that. I just love it. It's so cool. Like, that's almost like some kind of neuro-linguistic programming, super powerful stuff to regain control to the best ability over your life in your direction. Russ and Laura, thank you so much, both of you. Appreciate both of you so much.
Thank you
Thank you for having me, and great seeing you again, Laura.
Yes,
We will
we'll
do this again at some time in the future. In the meantime, folks, I'm going to sign off here. My name is Karl Sterling. Be sure to go to karlsterling.com. That's Karl with a K. Karl with a K. Check out the website and see for yourself what we got going on, what's happening with the services we offer. And we can't wait to get your call, get your email, get your text, and have you come and join us. Check us out. Karl with a K, karlsterling.com, 315-935-7488. Look forward to being back here next week. Have a great week.
The paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of this show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of the station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been approved by the FDA, nor is it intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Information has been for general information only, and before considering anything discussed, you should contact your doctor or primary care physician.
You know that Bathfitter provides a seamless wall for your new bathtub and a lifetime warranty. But have you heard about their price assurance guarantee? Hey, it's Julie for Bathfitter, and they're so sure that they offer the best value for your money that they'll beat any comparable pricing. So, if you find any bathtub or shower system with the same features, Bathfitter will beat that quote. So not